are back. You're listening to You Would Think, the Philly Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Collington, and joining me, as always, it's Mike Giletto.
What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? How you doing?
How are you doing?
Good. We got a little bit of a new setup here. You reorganized your basement.
A little bit,
We're on the other side, and I get to lay on a couch while we record.
There you
this
go.
is great. So, anyway, before we get into today's show, and boy, do we have a lot of Flyers news to talk about.
We got a lot to talk about.
I'm here to tell you, you can find the show on Twitter at YWT Podcast. You can find me at K Collington and Mike at Mike_Giletto. You can also find the show on Facebook, Instagram, Podbean, iTunes, Google Podcast, lastwordonsports.com, and our YouTube page. And we do have a little bit more social media to throw out here at the beginning because we have a special guest.
We do.
And you know what? I was going to throw to him, but I'm actually going to let you introduce him real quick and then let him introduce himself to us.
Okay. This is somebody that I've known since you were born, right? I'd say so.
Well, if you're older than him, then yeah.
My cousin Dom.
What's going on?
Welcome to the show.
What's up? Thanks for having me, guys.
What's up, Dom?
Not much.
Now, I know you've talked to us a little bit about maybe you wanted to start a podcast. And, we might run some sort of network of You Would Think branded podcasts. And this is a good opportunity for you to
get your feet wet a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
kind of figure out what's going on and see if this is something maybe you want to try.
Yeah, I'm having a blast already.
And I know you're going to talk Sixers on your podcast, and you know we don't do that here. You'll get 7 or 6 seconds later on.
Okay.
All right, let's
We can just do that off the top. Give them 7 or 6 right now.
No, we'll
save it for
use it as a transition.
All right, we'll save it.
We're going to talk Phillies and Eagles. We're going to talk Phillies and Eagles a little later in the show, but there's so much Flyers news. I think we just have to start with it.
Okay.
So,
where do you want to start? There's
a
bunch that happened over the last week.
The correct answer is Gritty.
Gritty's
the man.
So on Monday, the Flyers announced their new mascot, and we had kind of thought that a mascot was coming. There were some whispers coming through the Twitter sphere, and it turns out not only is it a mascot, it's horrifying.
It is horrifying.
It looks like a horror movie villain. It looks like Chucky from the Chucky movies, and a Muppet.
I think he's pretty handsome.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Did you see that the first Gritty tattoo has been?
Yes, I saw that.
It's awful.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's not even good workmanship. Anyway, so this thing, you know it by now. If you're listening to this show, you know what Gritty is. You know what Gritty is. He's been meme-worthy since day one. Apparently, he lived in the bowels of the Wells Fargo. He's been on Jimmy Kimmel. He's gotten into Twitter wars with 1,000 other mascots, including the LA Kings mascot.
Most notably, the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Right, that shot at the Pittsburgh Penguins
that
on day
stupid
one.
penguin.
On day one. Sleep with one eye open, bird.
Yep.
He has the most followers of any NHL mascot.
It's crazy.
Number one in the league.
I know,
in less than a week. He came out. He got announced Monday. We're recording on Saturday. Pulling back the curtain a little bit. We're recording a little bit earlier just due to some scheduling stuff. He's been around for less than a week, and it's amazing to me how much the city flipped when he first got announced. It was, oh my God, this thing is horrifying.
Yep.
What is this doing in our arena?
I think people are miserable.
That's fair.
They really are. Like, I read somewhere that the NHL wanted the Flyers to
have a mascot,
and the Flyers refused.
Really?
Yeah, they refused. And
I don't know how true that is.
Neither do I, but I read it somewhere that, and the NHL basically told them they had to do it.
Did you read it on the internet? Because everything you read on the internet's true.
Yes,
that's true.
Every single thing.
Every single thing. But the commissioner basically told them that they had to do it, and they came out with the worst possible idea.
Right.
Yeah.
And in the history of forcing people to do things, it's going to turn on them and just be the most successful thing of all time.
No, I think he's very handsome.
Yeah, but it's incredible how much everybody hated him at first glance because it's hideous. And
it's ugly. And I was never I'm not a fan of mascots. Right. Mascots in general just don't do anything for me.
And the initial response was, yeah, it's for children, but okay, it's going to terrify children.
Yeah, it is.
And
it's
then
I think they'll get over it.
Right. And then what happened was once the national media picked it up as a story and started trashing this, oh, look at Philly leave it to Philly to come up with the worst mascot ever, blah, 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 blah. All of a sudden, Philly got defensive.
Yeah.
Right.
Gritty was one of ours immediately.
It's a sibling complex. Like, I can make fun of it. I can make fun of it. You can't.
I can pick on my little brother.
Exactly.
If you pick on my little brother, we got problems.
I mean, and let's be honest. Like, the Fanatic really isn't very cute either. Like, he's kind of weird.
Yeah,
but we're used to it because the three of us sitting here were born, and the Fanatic was already here. Yes, like I imagine when in the 70s or whenever he was created.
Yeah, I believe it was the 70s. Yeah.
I'm sure people were very, very, scared of it at that time.
What is that thing?
Right.
But
I think we'll get over it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the city really has flipped. Now, I don't know how much longevity Gritty will have, because, the Eagles have a mascot, technically. Yeah, does anybody really care?
Swoosh?
Swoop. You don't even know his name.
Swoosh?
Exactly.
That's Nike.
No, I think Swoosh used to be the Sixers, and then he changed him to Franklin. Franklin's the worst mascot ever.
The rabbit's name wasn't Swoosh, was it?
Oh, was it? I thought so. I don't know.
I
could be wrong.
I'm thinking of Nike, apparently.
Okay. Yeah, I thought the rabbit was like Hops or whatever.
Yeah, maybe it was. And then they switched it to Franklin a couple years ago.
Franklin's dumb.
Yeah, Franklin's horrible.
Yeah, I get it. The Franklin Institute. Whoa. Ben Franklin. Whoa.
That actually makes sense. It'll make sense.
Did you not get that immediately?
No, I got it.
Oh my god, that
might
be the dumbest thing you've said since you said "Remember the Titans" wasn't a top.
Oh, here we go. Now I have to get my opinion on this.
Dom said he had.
I feel like we bring this up every week. Though.
Well, listen, because every week we bring on one of your family members who thinks your take is stupid.
Remember the Titans.
Your fault.
Remember the Titans is not only one of the greatest sports movies ever, and I told you this after that episode. I think I texted you, or it might have been on Twitter. Remember the Titans is in the top 20 greatest movies ever.
Just movies.
Movies, in my opinion.
I think it's overrated. List. I just think it's an overrated. I don't know. I just think it's an overrated movie.
Okay, we're not going to go into this. Yeah. I just wanted to get the shot in. I wanted to give Dom a chance to get his shot.
Yeah. All right. That's fine. I mean, I feel like you bring it up once a week. Well, but listen, whatever.
We keep having family members of yours on. Yep. Not even my family members. Yeah. We haven't even had my father on recently.
We need to give him a call. I know. We need to give him a call.
Yeah, what does he think of this?
We're working up some special ideas for our 1 year anniversary, which is actually only a couple of months away.
Yeah.
We're recording episode 40 right now. Episode 50.
Episode 40.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
And episode 52 should be our 1 year show. That's
January 2nd, I think we started
crazy.
this. I think January 2nd.
We started January 2nd. Yeah, we've already been doing this for 9 months.
Wait. 52. The Eagles won the Super Bowl last year, guys.
Eagles won Super Bowl 52.
It's a sign. The very first year we started, the Eagles won Super Bowl too.
The Eagles are undefeated in the playoffs for as long as this show has been going on.
Exactly. So you're welcome, Philadelphia. That's basically what I'm saying.
I think we made that joke after they won.
Yeah, we did.
That's all right. So, do we have anything else to say about Gritty?
He's a handsome fella.
I hated him at first because, again, I hated mascots.
It's kind of been exhausted by now, right?
Yeah, but his Twitter game strong. He was on the late night show the other night.
Yeah, with Jimmy Fallon.
I mean, I don't really care. I don't really care for mascots either, but I love all the Philly mascots except Franklin.
Yeah. And Swoop just doesn't really do much.
Right.
But he runs out there with a flag after they score. He runs them out on the field.
Right.
Yeah, he's not
whatever a basic mascot does.
Right, but he's not like at Phillies games. The Fanatic's all over the place.
Right.
In the third inning,
I feel like Gritty would be like that too, though. Like Gritty's gonna mess with people.
I think Gritty will. And I was at the preseason game the other night against the Rangers. He dumped a bunch of popcorn on some Rangers fans. It was very Fanatic-esque.
But in 2018, is that okay to do?
I think if it stays low level, you're not going to get away with some of the stuff the Fanatic got away with.
Right.
Because the Fanatic used to get away with some stuff, pulling down tube tops.
Yeah.
That's not going to fly today. But I think if it stays fairly harmless, then he'll be fine. And did you see, they posted a video of it on the Flyers page of him dumping the popcorn. And Bailey, the LA Kings mascot, tweeted and was like, oh, you wasted perfectly good food, blah, blah, blah. Or Gritty said something about that's my dinner, and Bailey said something about, my bag is more full, or I do it better. And Gritty's response was, yeah, and it was almost as salty as you are.
Yeah.
About the popcorn.
Right.
Phenomenal. Just absolutely clever. Whatever intern is running that page is completely on point. And I hope they don't get watered down.
It's not Gritty that's running the page?
Yeah, it is, Dom.
Oh, okay.
Everything you read on the internet's true. If Gritty says he posted it, then yeah.
There you go.
But if you remember, the Vegas Golden Knights Twitter used to be really, really strong.
Golden Knights Twitter, it's still strong.
Yeah, but it's gotten weaker because they made some comments last year and got talked to by the league. I remember they made some comments about the Nashville press box, and there was just a couple of shots, and the NHL kind of made them tone it down a little bit. So I hope Gritty doesn't go down the same road. I kind of hope he stays in the good graces of the NHL. But in the meantime, it's fun.
I liked his answer to Roberto Luongo. Luongo posted a picture, said, "Did not sleep for 1 second last night, cuz," and then posted a picture of Gritty.
Yeah.
Gritty said, "Well, you should try some memory foam. That might solve the problem." That might solve the problem.
Yeah, it's at Gritty NHL, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so... if you have...
And also, the picture of him as Kim Kardashian with the glass on his ass.
The first day he broke.
The breaking the internet.
The breaking the internet picture.
It's the greatest picture ever.
Yeah. It was phenomenal. It was really well done.
That is the greatest picture ever. I'm just scrolling through his Twitter right now.
The Flyers PR team has been completely on point with this whole thing.
Well, the Flyers haven't been this relevant since 2010.
Right. And speaking of the Flyers being relevant, Jori Lehtera is relevant in Finland right now.
Yes, he is.
So apparently over the summer...
It's about as relevant as he'll ever get.
Right. Apparently over the summer there was a pretty massive drug bust at his cottage in Finland. And it ended up in the arrests of 7 people. Now, he was not one of them. I don't even think he was there at the time. But 7 people got arrested from Jori Lehtera's house.
Yep.
Is it safe to assume he's involved in some way?
I hope so.
Because then the Flyers get to void his contract.
Exactly.
Well, the contract doesn't really matter because he's only got a year left.
The roster spot matters.
So, yeah, but you could send him down. I mean,
when is the last time the Flyers sent down somebody that they should?
Send somebody that they should?
Yeah. Why is Andrew McDonald still in the NHL roster?
Because he's got more than 1 year left. I think if Andrew
McDonald... They sent him down 2 years ago.
No, I know. But they did it
the whole year in Lehigh Valley.
They did it with Matt Reed, though. Had 1 year left. Didn't really have the speed anymore. They sent him down. So they
and then they called him back up.
Halfway through the year because of an injury.
Anyway, if Lehtera is found to be involved in this somehow, even if he doesn't get arrested, I would imagine that the Flyers go through whatever lengths they can to void his contract. Especially with how well your bottom 6... The guys who are fighting for bottom 6 spots have been playing this preseason.
Yeah, again,
I know you don't put much stock into it because
not only that, but there's just I don't think he really has a spot on the team anyway. I think regardless of this whole situation, I think that we're going to send him
What's
down.
His contract look like?
This is the last year at like four and a half
he's making 4 or something. Yeah,
4 and some change.
And the Flyers have plenty of cap space, so it's not like sending him to the minors is going to cost you.
Right.
Like you can eat the cap space with no problem
for just 1 year. I don't see that being an issue.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to give grief about the Flyers losing the Braden Shen trade, just look at Morgan Frost. Kid's a stud.
We don't know that yet. I mean, things can still happen.
Sure.
I like the trade.
Prospect.
I like the trade. I even texted Mike after the day after.
Right.
And I like the trade so far, but Mike is right. I think we don't know what he is yet.
Yeah.
Sure, and especially because the other first-round pick was Joel Farabee, who's going to college.
Yep.
Right.
We're not going to see what he is for a
couple of years,
maybe 5 years.
It depends.
Well, if he comes out and is ready to go to the NHL, then we'll see him in 3 or 4 years. No, I think he'll spend at least 2 years at college.
It's possible.
You don't go to college for 1 year. I just don't think that's...
Where's he going again? He's not going to...
Thayer?
No, that's...
No, that's Jay O'Brien.
That's Jay O'Brien. He's not going to Boston, is he?
He might be.
Is he going to play on the line with Jack Hughes this year?
I think he's going to Boston U. I think Jack Hughes is going to Boston College. Okay. No, imagine if he played with Jack Hughes.
It might be Providence he's going to.
I don't know. Look it up.
All right.
But regardless, if you're going to college, you're probably going for at least 3 years where you can finish your degree in the summer or whatever. It's not like the NBA or the NFL where they just want to get to the pros as soon as they can. Right? A lot of college players go and finish their degree. That's why I don't think Adam Fox is going to Carolina anytime soon, because he's got 1 year left at Harvard.
Boston University.
It's Boston University? Okay. Yeah. And Jack Hughes is not also at Boston University, right? Look that up, too.
I'm looking.
But regardless, we're not going to know really what the result of the Braden Shen trade is for another half a decade. If Morgan Frost makes the team next year, maybe. I think they sent him back to juniors. Yeah, they sent him back to juniors. So he's going to play another year with Sault Ste. Marie. And he lit the world on fire last year, so we hope that continues.
Doesn't say Jack Hughes has a school. It just says United States National Development Program. Doesn't say any sort of college or anything. So yeah, it's weird.
He might be going into his last year of high school. I don't know how old Jack Hughes is, but like that's a possibility.
It might.
He better get his passport ready because he's going to play for Ottawa.
He's 17.
Actually, yeah, he's definitely still in high school.
Yeah,
that's weird. Jack Hughes is going to be a senior in high school. Ew, I feel real old.
What was
right
your
now.
biggest accomplishment?
Yeah,
senior year of high school.
Right.
Jesus.
Anyway,
mine was probably like just passing math or something.
just passing English.
Yeah,
I got you.
There you go.
So
the English, the language you speak, it's nice.
Listen,
and you're a grammar Nazi too.
You are a Grammy Nazi.
Listen, I slept a lot. Okay, it was
Makes
eighth period.
sense.
It was eighth period. I was tired. I slept in that class a lot. Shout out to Miss Copus at Washington Township High School.
Okay, there you go.
So anyway,
that might be the most obscure reference we've had since this show.
Hey, listen, if somebody went to Washington Township High School, she's been there for 30 years, so there's a pretty wide breadth here.
All right.
Anyway,
moving on. I don't know where we went.
Are we? Okay, so I know we talked about it a little bit last week. Does Mikhail Vorobyev make the team?
It looks that way.
It sure does.
It looks that way.
I understand you don't put a ton of stock into the preseason, and that's fair. But at the same time, that's the only real shot you have at judging these players, right? Unless you're going to give Mikhail Vorobyev an NHL shot, which I think he's going to get this year.
It looks like it, yeah.
I think he's
which is the way that they're using him in practice and preseason games.
I think he's going to be your 3C.
Yeah, I think so.
And if you get to play with Lindblom and Simmons, you got a good chance. You got every shot to succeed.
Yeah, speed's still an issue for me on that line, but
Lindblom,
he's not that fast.
He's quick. I didn't say he's fast.
No, he's not.
He's only been in the league for how many games?
25.
Right. So let's you know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the fact that you don't need your third line to put up 60 points each.
No, not at all.
Is he technically still a rookie?
I don't think so. I think he just crossed the threshold.
I think you have to play 20 games. It might, he might be still. I don't know.
I think he just
either
crossed
20
the
or 25
threshold.
games, so I think he's close.
Right. But either way, I think that's a really good third line.
Yeah, again, speed's an issue for me, but Simmons and Lindblom know where to go to score goals. So.
Right. Let's put it this way. I trust that line against the Derek Brassard line on the Penguins in the playoffs. And I couldn't say that about last year's third line.
I don't know about the playoffs yet.
Yeah, I don't
Listen, they're going to make the playoffs.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying like
Vorobyev.
Right. There's two young guys and Wayne Simmons. Like,
well, here's the thing.
Who knows what Wayne Simmons is going to be this year? I mean, nobody knows.
He can stay healthy.
I think Wayne Simmons is going to light the world on fire.
I hope so.
I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't.
Because then we got to pay him.
If he does, see you later. He's walking.
If he does, he's walking.
Yeah.
There's no way they give him $6 million a year, which is probably the team friendliest contract he'd be willing to take.
That's minimum. Yeah.
Like he's probably going to want something in the neighborhood of 5 years, $7 million per.
7.5.
He's going to want the JVR contract.
Yep.
Which I personally think JVR got a little overpaid, but I'll take it. No,
in the free agent market,
right?
When he was probably the second most coveted, free agent.
Second or third, right?
Yeah, he was your second highest free agent, and also you're looking for 3 or 4 good years. The one thing I'm happy about with that contract,
30s,
right? I think he's 29.
Right, he'll be in his 30s. Right.
The one thing I'm happy about with that contract is the term, because they didn't give him 7. The fact that they gave him 5 and paid him a little bit more,
right?
I think is better.
That's like Howie Roseman, like
right. Well, they could have gave him 6-7 years.
I think if you go 7 years, the price comes down to 6.5.
Probably 6.25, something like that. Yeah.
And I think the fact that you went 5, I'm okay with overpaying a little tiny bit on a guy who scored 36 goals last year.
Right, but he's also your second line guy too.
Yeah,
exactly. And he's playing with Jake Voracek.
The turnover machine.
We imagine he's going to play with Jake Voracek. Yeah, you're not going to expect any defense out of that line.
No.
JVR was not a defensive player in Toronto.
Nope.
Jake Voracek is weak at best in the defensive zone, and sometimes he's a downright liability.
And Nolan Patrick, I still haven't seen.
And Nolan Patrick is a second-year NHL player who's only been healthy for 3 months of NHL playing.
Who probably takes over that Wayne Simmons role eventually
on the power play,
right? And sits in front of the net.
I think JVR will do it this year.
Okay.
because that was kind of what he did in Toronto.
Right.
I think
that was where his success was.
I think Lindblom's that guy too.
We talked about it I think Lindblom's the guy in the Giroux spot who's taking the shots that Simmons tips.
I disagree.
I think we talked about it on the show a couple weeks ago. I think your first unit, Coots, Claude, Travis, and
Konechny,
JVR.
Right?
Yeah, Travis Konechny, yeah.
Travis's.
And JVR with Ghost as your defenseman, obviously.
Okay.
Because you have your little triangle at the top with Couturier, or with Ghost, Claude, and Travis. And then you have JVR down low. And I think that's your first unit. And then I think your second unit has Patrick, Lindblom, Voracek, Simmons, and probably Provorov.
Right.
That's filthy. When's the last time the Flyers had a second unit that good?
It's filthy on paper. They actually have to do it.
They're going to do it.
Exactly.
We've been saying that for 3 years.
No, you don't know that.
Adding JVR and then the maturity of Nolan Patrick. This team is up 2 forwards from where they were a year ago.
Again, on paper, sure. But the coaching's still been an issue.
I know, but Nolan Patrick hasn't had a healthy season a healthy offseason in 4 years.
I get that.
So this is
just like my guy Joel Embiid.
There's the Sixers shout out.
We haven't gotten to your 7 seconds yet, Tom.
Oh. So what's it? That's there. 1 second. So now I get 6 seconds later.
Exactly.
Sure. So I think the Flyers power play has a ton of potential this year. It's going to be one of the scarier power plays in the at least in the East.
Yeah, but
right? Toronto's up there.
Sure.
Pittsburgh's always up there. I think the Flyers are right in that conversation.
But like you said, potential.
Sure.
I mean, potential just is a word for a guy who hasn't done anything yet.
I agree. And I think your penalty kill is going to have to do some work this year. I would like to see Lawton, Wheel. Ugh. I don't mind Lawton in a.
You don't like Lawton, Tom?
Nah.
In a penalty kill role.
When
he reminds me a lot of 22-year-old Sean Couturier.
Right. Like when they drafted him, it was obviously like a defensive guy,
right? Sean
a guy that can win face-offs, like a fourth line guy. Right. I understand that. Like it's just I don't know.
And that's really all he is a fourth line guy.
Right. Really that's my problem.
Team needs that.
No, they do, but it was a first-round pick. I mean, I don't know.
Right, you can find those guys later,
right?
Or free agency. Like
Do you know who the Flyers missed out on? Like I'm not.
No, I don't.
I just have they missed out on, like a David Pasternak type player.
I have no idea, but
I'll look it up.
Okay, look up what year he got drafted, and then
I'm just saying I wouldn't be like Belmar. Like I wouldn't be very upset. Not upset, but like I wouldn't be crushed to lose Lawton. I don't know.
Right. Is Lawton and Wheel an upgrade over Van de Velde and Belmar from 2 years ago?
Absolutely.
Okay, then.
No, I'm not complaining about the fourth line. The fourth line looks great.
Fourth line looks phenomenal. It's probably Wheel. It's Wheel and Lawton and probably Weeze, Lehtera. I know. But listen, in a perfect world, it's Taylor Lear.
Right.
But given what our coaching staff and our front office does, it's going to be Weeze or Lehtera. And we all know it, right? Like Dale Weise has gotten a ton of ice time.
I think they have a better shot of it being Weise, honestly.
Yeah, Dale Weise has gotten a ton of ice time this preseason.
Right. And there really isn't a bunch of players after him that I would have...
In the first round?
Yeah. I mean, Mark Jankowski.
Who's fine.
Olli Mata, who's a solid player. Mike Matheson, who we're just finally starting to see with Florida.
Olli Mata's that young?
Yeah.
Wow, it feels like he's been around forever. Did he jump straight to the show?
What year was this? Like 4 years
This is 2012.
Ago? Oh, wow.
2012.
Wow, Scott Lawton's been around since 2012?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Jordan Schmaltz. Brendan Gaunce.
I don't think he came up to like 2014, though.
Brendan Gaunce? No, I think Brendan Gaunce is also a fourth-line player. Jordan Schmaltz is probably a third-line player.
Henrik Samuelsson. For Arizona.
Who?
Brady Shea.
Okay, that's your only name. That's the only name.
No, not yet. I saw 2 more.
Okay,
but Stefan Mateo.
No,
Matto.
I'd rather have Scott Lawton.
And then the 30th overall pick was a steal, Tanner Pearson for the Kings.
Yeah, but he's a middle 6 guy. He's not a first line winger.
He's top 6, I think.
I don't think
second line winger. I think.
I don't think the Flyers got jobbed. I don't think they screwed up.
Yeah, I disagree. I agree with
that. Scott Lawton is a solid NHL player.
No, I hear you.
That was a weak draft.
Right.
Yeah. And I think we all knew the 2012 draft was weak at the time.
What pick was? Do you know what pick he was in that draft?
20, I think.
Okay. Well, Drew was a 20, right?
I don't know. Bobby
20.
Clark forgot his name, so I think he was like 8th. Claude.
Drew?
No, yeah,
I thought he wasn't that high. No,
he was like 18 or 20.
Okay,
maybe even like 22.
So I think we're pretty much done with the Flyers here.
Claude Drew is 2006, 22nd overall.
22nd overall. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so
about a steal though.
Before we get into the Phillies and the disappointment that they've been,
again, I said it last week. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Move on. Before we get to the Phillies and the disappointment they've been, and the Eagles, who have a big game in Tennessee tomorrow, we're going to bring you a special celebrity edition of 7 or 6 seconds, where we talk about the Philadelphia 76ers.
Not really.
You didn't prepare him for this.
Or 6 seconds. Go ahead, Dom.
So the Sixers, they played Melbourne, and they won. Yeah, so
there you
like
go.
7 or 6. No, but wait.
And
Let me just get something real quick.
You're done.
There's 7 or 6 seconds where we talk about the Philadelphia 76ers in 7 or 6 seconds.
Just because you're a guest, Dom. Go ahead. Finish that last.
You kind of threw me out in the dark.
Yeah, that's what
we threw you out to the wolves there a little bit. Go ahead. Finish that last point.
If you had a Sixers point, we can get to it.
Obviously, they played an Australian team last night, Melbourne, or however the hell you say that city.
I think if you're from Australia, you don't say the L. It's like Melbourne.
Right.
Yeah,
They said that last night. Yeah. No, I thought Simmons and Fultz looked really, 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 really good, especially together on the court. But yeah, I mean, obviously they didn't play an NBA team last night, and
when does the season start? Like tomorrow?
October 16th.
Hey, Mike, you know how you don't put any stock in the preseason?
Yeah, what's that?
How would you feel about the Flyers playing against an OHL team?
Jesus Christ.
Right, no, that's my point.
Essentially what happened.
Yeah, no, that's my point. Yeah, no, I mean...
Might as well.
Like,
it's the worst that could happen.
But we saw Fultz's shot, finally,
Radko
in a
Gudas
game.
kills some 15-year-olds. That's the worst thing that happened.
But they did play the defending champs.
It's a little different.
They did play the defending champs last night.
So that's like the Eagles playing the champions of the CFL, basically.
Okay.
No, I would say it's like the Eagles playing like... Not Alabama, but like...
A Division II college team?
No, like Auburn
Penn
or something.
State.
Yeah, Penn State, okay.
The Eagles play Penn State.
What was the score of the game? Do you know off the top of your head?
If they won by less than 30, it's a joke.
Well, I don't think it's that.
Then it's a joke. All right, let's move on.
I don't even think the Australian team broke like 90.
Okay. So...
Thank you for that, by the way.
Yeah, of course. That was 7 or 6 minutes. No. So, I would like to take this time to officially congratulate my buddy Scott. He has won our Phillies over 500 bet. As of Saturday morning, the recording of this show, the Phillies have 82 losses and cannot finish above 500. So I lost, and Scott, you and I will get in contact about getting you on the show at some point, maybe after the Braves get eliminated. And I can't do it now when you're riding too high.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
lives in North Carolina.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Let's pour one out for our departed homies, the Philadelphia Phillies.
I think they poured it themselves about a month and a half ago.
Yeah. They did.
They were 15 plus games above 500 6 weeks ago.
Let's pour one out because they are dead.
Absolutely atrocious. And Gabe Kapler's going to keep his job.
He should.
I agree.
I agree. But this kind of collapse is unacceptable.
Of course, unacceptable. But nobody expected them to really be as good as they were for the first half. Anyway.
I agree. They way outplayed expectations for 6 months, and then came way back down to earth the last 6 weeks.
Yep. The defense and the pitching caught up to them.
You know what I think it is? Awful.
Well, no, they were great the first half of the year.
The last 6 weeks, I'm talking about.
Hitting was always bad all year. So it was always terrible.
So obviously the Phillies were a young team to start the season, right?
And then, for the most part,
to buy into what Gabe Kapler offered,
the process,
right? So
don't use that word.
So I think when they made all those trades at the deadline, they brought in Ramos and who else did they bring in?
Loop or whatever.
Yeah, like older guys, veterans.
Bohr, yeah.
Cabrera. They brought in veterans that didn't buy in. Jake Arrieta didn't buy into what.
Okay.
Because they were very good up until that point.
So instead of blaming Kapler, are you blaming Klentak? for bringing those guys in?
No, because I don't mind the guys that he brought in because honestly I would re-sign Ramos if we could.
I love the Ramos.
I was gonna say I like your theory except for Wilson Ramos.
Right.
You want to make that case for Boer, and I think they made one other move
Cabrera,
too.
Right.
But Wilson Ramos has been phenomenal.
No,
he
absolutely.
was probably
He's
their
a top
best player.
5 catcher in the league.
Yeah, he was probably their best player over the last 6 weeks.
Right. I think if it worries me because obviously they'll talk around the city as like Harper and Machado, and it worries me that these guys aren't, because they're veterans. They're not going to want to buy in to this. Obviously,
but
money talks.
You have a different attitude if you're Gabe Kapler. If you have Bryce Harper or Manny Machado in your lineup, because you have to.
Right, but Ramos
you sign this guy. You sign this guy to a $400 million contract. You have to.
Right, he's going to play every day. Obviously, you brought in Ramos as a top 5 catcher, and he played like 3 days a week.
That's a frustrating thing, but I think he was banged up too.
Yeah, no, he probably was.
He was hurt all year.
But I mean, even Boer, like I thought Boer's a good player. I think Boer's a good player. Like, and he didn't.
Well,
play.
yeah, that's because they're going to put $20 million, Carlos Santana on first.
And you and I
Carlos
both
Santana
love that signing
when it happened,
right? And we both hate it now. We're both dead wrong.
Four words for why that signing was atrocious. Left fielder Rhys Hoskins.
Yep.
Right.
Awful.
And guess what?
Awful.
I actually didn't
probably
think that
ruined Rhys Hoskins.
No, I don't know about that.
Ruining Rhys Hoskins. He's not here for his glove.
If Carlos Santana is on your roster in April, kiss Rhys Hoskins goodbye.
No, that's the dumbest thing you've ever said.
He's not a left fielder. He's atrocious.
Neither was Pat Burrell, and he made the switch. Like, guys do it.
Pat Burrell's way better than Rhys
Hoskins. Obviously, but.
Yeah, no.
But no, when Burrell first went out there, Burrell's glove was
honestly,
terrible.
I'm too young to remember that.
Burrell's glove was terrible.
It was a struggle.
It was a learning curve, and it's going to be for Hoskins if they keep him out there.
I think you're ruining Rhys Hoskins.
I don't know about ruining because he's not here for his glove. Look, he's here for his bat.
But you have to be an acceptable fielder. You're a National League team. You can't stick him in the DH slot.
Yeah, but left field, you really don't have to be that great.
You need to be okay.
But that's the thing. Like, a lot of people aren't talking about Rhys Hoskins. Like, Rhys Hoskins struggled.
He did
a couple times. But then again, there's the argument it's 162 games. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, but when it mattered, like right after the All-Star break, I think he went 1 for like 28 or something like that.
No, not after the All-Star break. He went nuts.
Right before? Was it right before the All-Star break? Okay.
And then he started. He had the home run derby, and then came back and hit like. For like a week, hit like 2 home runs a game.
Okay, so then maybe it was right before. He was like 1 for like 28.
That was when the team was still winning.
Right.
Yeah.
Before the All-Star game, they were winning in spite of his slump. After the All-Star game, they were winning because he got hot.
I think they played in Cincinnati. He had like 6 or 7 home runs in that series.
Yeah, Rhys Hoskins has potential.
And then Sir Anthony didn't look godlike anymore,
especially after the trade deadline and the All-Star break.
But also with Hoskins. Is the fact that he's essentially learning to play left field, is that affecting him at the plate?
No.
Last year I was on board with that, but not this year.
No.
Okay. I was just curious because you do have to like when
you're a baseball player. You know how to catch and throw.
Yeah, but when you play one position forever, you don't have to think about it. Everything is automatic. You run on autopilot, and then hitting it comes easy.
See, I think because there's 162 games that
he should have figured it out.
No, that. At first, it's going to be tough. Like, look at Scott Kingery. Scott Kingery started, most of this year up until about August, maybe,
and took a dump with the rest of the team in August.
Right. But he actually his average went up. Like he was hitting the 300s over a certain amount of games. I think it was like 15 games. He hit like 333 with like 4 home runs from August to September. Right. So like I think once there's 160 games, you get used to playing a certain position after a while.
I guess. And maybe a full off season.
That's also a little different.
I mean, if you're going to ask me, I'd rather have Hoskins at first. But
well, yeah, obviously. But Kingery's not a shortstop and shouldn't have been there ever. Your shortstop should be your best fielder in the infield. He just should be.
Right.
Yeah, that's your quarterback.
So him being there was a disgrace, in my opinion.
I agree. And maybe a full off season of Hoskins training to be an outfielder will do him some good.
But I don't think they are.
They have to. If that's the plan,
I truthfully think they're going to get rid of.
You think
Santana,
they're going to move
even
Santana?
if they get a bag of balls for him?
I hope so.
I really think because it gives up. It takes away money.
Well, they're going to have if they get rid of him, they're going to have to eat a majority of that contract anyway.
Yeah, baseball.
Because they have the money, I'd be okay with that.
Right. Nobody's going to take that whole contract on.
Baseball doesn't have a cap. You're going to sign Machado and or Harper. you're looking at $500 million almost, which is unreal to think about. Eating some Santana money is nothing.
No. But yeah, I'd be all for that.
I think it makes the team better.
And I think it's stupid to try him at third. Get rid of the guy.
Just get rid of him.
I agree. Yeah, no.
You move Hoskins back to first. You put Roman Quinn in left.
Roman Quinn did some decent things.
I love Roman Quinn.
Yeah.
And then you put Bryce Harper in right.
Center. No, I put him in center.
You put him in center?
I have a list of guys I hate.
Odubel
Herrera is number one.
Yeah, I hate him.
Robert Covington is number 2, and Lehtera is number 3.
For our listeners out there, Robert Covington is a basketball player.
Right, for the Philadelphia 76ers.
I've heard that.
You guys know that team?
I've heard that team twice in the last.
Odubel Herrera.
Robert Covington.
Odubel Herrera is an awful baseball player.
Yes.
He's a decent hitter.
He's lost them games playing defense.
Yeah, he's a decent hitter. He's a terrible fielder, and he's got a 5-cent head on the base path. So
right, doesn't hustle. He doesn't do anything.
He's terrible. Yep. But hey, he was a Rule 5 pick, so they don't really give up anything for him.
I guess my dream is to have Hoskins at first, Kingery at second, Machado at short. I guess you keep Franco at third, put Roman Quinn in left, Harper in center, and Williams in right. For next year.
If Franco is your weakest infielder, you're in decent.
And he's actually not bad. He's pretty good.
He had a very good bounce back season.
That's what I'm saying. If he's your weakest infielder, which I think in that infield he probably would be.
And then we got our guy behind the plate, Ramos.
Exactly. I think re-signing Ramos needs to be a priority.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to, or if he was a true rental.
Well, it's Philadelphia. They're not going to.
Kid's a stud.
Because we want him.
He is. He's good.
He might be, if he re-signs here, say he signs a 4-year deal, might be the best Phillies catcher since Lieberthal.
Ruiz is better than Lieberthal.
Chooch
had the time, but Chooch wasn't supremely talented.
No, he was for a stretch of 4 or 5 years.
Lieberthal couldn't hit.
Chooch was good.
Save his life.
Chooch was good because he didn't have to bat above the 7 slot.
Right. But he was as a catcher. You have to be better defensively than offensively, and Chooch was very, very good. We found that out after he left.
And there's not many good
Cameron Rupp.
When you think of the history of catchers, nobody's really a great hitter.
How much?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, think of Brian McCann,
Yadier
Molina, who's still a boss, by the way.
Right. Agreed.
Brian McCann, Yadi,
Buster Posey.
You got Piazza.
I was going to say, didn't Mike Piazza play catcher?
Yeah.
Okay.
But historically, you compare them to any other position. They're not. You have to be better defensively than offensively. Ruiz obviously had Howard, Utley, and Worth, and all the other guys. All the other guys.
He didn't have to bat above the 7 slot.
Right. Alfara's not. But he was also not a great defender. He's got a gun. He's got a gun, but he can't block a pitch.
No.
To save his life.
And that's the thing is, he can never find his swing. Like when he finds a swing, he loses it. Like he'll hit a bomb, and then for
2 weeks.
He'll just
go 0 for 32.
Disappear.
Yeah.
Right. I agree with that.
And maybe that's just because he's young and he's learning.
That's also baseball.
Right. It's 162 games.
It's ups and downs and ebbs and flows.
That was my point about Hoskins.
Regardless, the Philadelphia Phillies are limping to the finish line in what can only be
I don't even think they're in second place anymore.
It can only be described as a disappointing season.
I'll tell you.
They fell to third, didn't they?
With where they were 6 weeks ago.
They did fall to third.
With where they were 6 weeks ago with a 2-game lead in the division, to just absolutely collapse like this, it's nothing less than disappointing.
It's the worst in 76 years.
Wow. Yeah, it's nuts. They're a third. They're 12 back of the Braves, and the Nationals are 9 back of the Braves.
Unreal.
And I heard Scherzer's pitching Sunday. They were going to shut him down, but if Colorado was in the playoff picture, they're going to pitch him Sunday to mess with him. Yeah.
Huh.
That's interesting. Scherzer should. Well, I don't know about should. He'll be a finalist for the Cy Young. I think it's DeGrom all the way.
Yeah, it's DeGrom, Cy Young. Lock it up.
Well, I don't know about lock because people are going to look at the wins and take that against them.
It should be. Dude's ERA is ridiculous.
It's like 1.7.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a full run ahead of the next guy.
And a month ago, I would have argued about Nola and Scherzer, but DeGrom.
Nola was in the running a month ago.
But because of this collapse.
If the Phillies make the playoffs,
and it's a popularity contest too.
If the Phillies win the division and Nola pitches well over these last 6 weeks, which he really hasn't,
then he has a good case.
Then he's your pick.
But unfortunately,
DeGrom is so much better than all the other candidates at this point.
And unfortunately, it is a popularity contest with that kind of stuff, and
not
obviously, obviously, DeGrom is much more popular than national than Nola at this point.
But I don't know about Scherzer.
But Philly rallies.
No, Scherzer's definitely bigger.
If the Phillies didn't collapse, Philly would have rallied behind Nola and gotten him voted.
But I don't know about the whole popularity thing because I think Snell's going to win it in the AL. Snell's just had
who else do they have? Sale, right?
Sale. I've heard Kluber's name.
How about Shohei Ohtani?
Yeah, there you go. There's a name. But Snell, Snell has like a 1.8 or 1.9 ERA, and he's got like 22 wins.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah.
I think like Paxton started off really well.
Yeah, he did.
Too.
Then he got hurt. He got hurt, and then
unfortunately
just wasn't the same. But
all right, so that kind of puts a bow on the Phillies season. We might talk about it a little bit next week if something crazy happens these last couple of days.
Hopefully, you guys talk about it when they sign Machado and Harper.
Oh, we will
in the same day.
Oh, don't you worry about it. We will.
There you go. We'll talk about the playoffs. I love
Yeah,
I love the fall classic.
Me too.
We'll touch on.
I love
some
baseball.
stuff. Yeah.
Baseball's my favorite.
Man.
So, speaking of things that are favorites, the Eagles play.
Yep,
we got a Birds game tomorrow.
We do.
Let's start right off the top with some predictions. Dom, what's the score?
I have the Birds winning.
Okay.
Everybody thinks it's going to be a close game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I'd probably go 24-13 Eagles.
Okay.
Because I don't think the Titans really can score that much, and Mariota's not 100%.
Is Mariota playing?
I believe so.
Oh, the Eagles' defensive line's going to eat
because
him alive.
it's either him or
Gabbert.
Austin Davis. No, Gabbert got hurt last week.
I know, but Gabbert's
really
still out.
Oh, okay.
Is he
I
still
thought
out?
so.
I don't know.
Because I thought they signed Austin Davis, so it's either nonetheless, it's either Mariota, Davis, or
Imagine being a Tennessee offensive lineman tonight.
Imagine making the trade for Mariota.
Yeah,
a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles' defense...
It says he's iffy for week 4.
Who's that, Gabbert?
Gabbert, yeah.
I think the Eagles' defense dominates this game. I think it's 17-6.
Going back to last year, they gave up a lot. I think it was 22 points on the road.
Okay.
No,
I think it's...
But I think with Mariota, a little shaky
iffy.
going in tomorrow, I could see them dominating.
I like 17-6.
17-6.
Okay. I like
That's
that.
a very low-scoring game.
Yeah.
Well, I need Carson to put up some points though. Fantasy-wise.
Fantasy, huh?
Yeah.
What did you say, Dom? What was your score? 24-13?
Yeah.
Mike?
And I had Goff
I'm gonna say
on my bench.
Did you?
Yeah, he put up 76.
There you go.
And Mike, by the way, who did you have last week, Mike? You sure did not have the Eagles.
No. Who did they play? Why am I drawing a blank?
Indy.
That's right. Yeah.
And they almost lost.
They did. It was an ugly game. But at least I think I said it was going to be a closer game. Then you said the Eagles were going to... The first game of the year. You said
first game of the year. I got it wrong.
Yeah, you said, it's an easy win, 3-touchdown win.
I think I guessed 20-13.
You were close.
It was 20-16.
Yeah, you were close.
I think your dad guessed 21-16. So we were both super.
Anyway,
close.
back to this game.
Yeah, what are you going to get wrong this week?
23-10 Eagles.
Okay. I like it.
It's kind of between me and Dom's predictions.
23-10.
That's a good one.
I think you'll see a little more consistency from Wentz.
I think
he's one game back.
Right. I think the Eagles defense is going to eat Tennessee alive.
Right. Because Wentz didn't look great against Indy.
But look at it last year too. The first 3 or 4 weeks, the Eagles kind of just got by.
Yeah.
And then week 4 or 5 started when it started last year.
They
just stayed 45-6 and
they won. It's following the exact same.
It was a game against
Arizona.
Denver.
No, Arizona, I think.
Denver, they blew out.
They blew out. That was later.
They blew out in prime time.
Dallas, they blew out in prime time as well.
Well, it's Dallas.
Yeah, but still. But I think that game it was 10-6 at halftime, and then they came back in the second half and just crushed them.
Imagine thinking that Dak Prescott is a top 5 quarterback in the NFC East.
Yeah, NFC East.
Imagine thinking Dak Prescott's a quarterback.
Well, he's their franchise quarterback, so
thank God.
That's seriously.
Yuck. Yeah, it's nice stuff for us.
When do they get on the phone and start calling Tony Romo?
The NFC East is falling.
He's
apart.
not even the best quarterback on their team.
I know.
Tavon Austin's probably better. He was a quarterback in college.
There's a name.
Maybe
Kid's got wheels.
Maybe they'll sign Trey Burton. He can be their backup.
Oh boy,
there you go. He has thrown a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl.
So he's thrown more playoff touchdown passes than Dak Prescott has.
Yep.
There you go.
I think Wentz has more touchdowns since the ACL tear.
He does.
Yeah,
he does. Oh, it's great.
It's crazy.
The NFC East is falling apart. The Giants are a train wreck. The Redskins are a train wreck. This might be the Eagles' division for 5 years.
I think the Redskins are going to really be the only problem for the Eagles. Not problem,
the only challenge.
Right.
I think if the Giants get a better offensive line,
It's not going to be this year, though.
They also
no,
need
it's
a
not going to be this year.
quarterback.
Well, Eli, if he has a good line in front of him, Eli doesn't have to be
Eli
world
is
beating.
710.
He doesn't have to be world beating. He's not great. Don't get me wrong.
Right, he could be Joe Flacco.
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't have to be world beating if they have a good offensive line. But if they can get
defense
one
is good enough.
The defense is fine. Their defensive line with Pierre-Paul, when he's not blowing up his hand, he's a good player.
I can't wait for Corey Clement to rush for 150 yards against the Giants.
Well, they also have somebody that could rush for 150 yards against us. And Saquon Barkley. Well, not rush, but probably total yards, probably.
That's my guy.
Yeah, he's got
Saquon?
that. He's got that catch it out of the backfield.
And I hate the Giants, but
obviously.
He's a hell of a player.
He's got that catch it out of the backfield potential, kind of like Brian Westbrook used to have.
Right.
And they have Odell. So
he put up
they have
38 for me 2 weeks ago.
Did he?
Yeah,
nice.
Crush. Sorry, guys.
Speaking of fantasy, that is the reason that we're recording a little early this week. I'm at Mike's house for the fantasy hockey draft, so we just figured we'd record. And
why not?
Dom's in the league too, so
I have no idea what I'm doing. But
you made the playoffs last year, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't. No.
For the first time in like 4 or 5 years.
Okay, it's okay. I'm making
my
the
team
playoffs
fell
this
apart.
year. I'm making the playoffs this year.
That's a bold statement.
Winning the championship next year.
Nobody wants to hear about our fantasy.
No, they absolutely don't.
Nobody wants to hear about that.
But in that note, I think we're about ready to wrap it up. What do you guys say?
It was fun.
Sure. Get ready
fun
to
episode.
hang out for a couple hours before the draft, and people should start showing up soon.
Hopefully, yeah.
So before we get out of here, Dom, where can our listeners find you on Twitter?
Yeah, my Twitter handle is @DomConsole.
DOMCONSOLE. That's what I thought.
There you go.
You can find me at K Collington, Mike at Mike_Giletto. Our logo is created for us by Ben at Benny the Jet 55 on Twitter. You can also find the show at YWT Podcast or on Facebook, Instagram, Podbean, iTunes, Google Podcast, lastwordonsports.com, and our YouTube channel. And until then, you can find us there, and we'll see you next week. Is it safe to assume he's involved in some way?
I hope so.